that does not give justification God exists. It gives justification that you need to research more to understand what reality is, rather than what there is always someone else above me that's doing all of these things. And for you to say God exists, you have to say who created God. Because that emptiness, you don't know where it comes from. You have never seen it. So therefore you can't explain this unknown element. You can only explain something that you have been bestowed upon. The books that you have been bestowed upon. And the books that you have been bestowed upon give you fragmental understanding that God exists by way of nature, by way of existing yourself, by way of someone else, or by way of this or that, and by way of lack of things that you don't understand. That does not justify that God does not exist, nor God exists. It gives you understanding that you have to continue searching, because you're still missing that element of nothingness. You have never seen it, right? So for me, I seek to understand that nothingness. Is there a way to explain that everything can come out of nothing? Yes, there can. Why? I'll explain to you. Atoms. Atoms. Protons and neutrons. Protons and neutrons. Electrons. They actually come into and out of. Exactly. They come into and out of existence. Electrons.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do, my friend. Electrons come into and out of existence. That's why they cannot determine where an electron jumps from the inner circle to the outer.
What was there before? Non-existence?
No, I'm saying the atom itself holds the elemental.
When you have these elemental particles coming in and out of existence,
the electron.
Before they come into existence, what were they?
Matter.
Listen, the question is, were they non-existent first and then came into existence?
You can't determine that. You can't determine that.
You seem to be implying they're non-existence. No, we talk about virtual particles becoming real particles. They were not non-existent. No physicist talks about they were totally non-existent.
They don't know about it yet.
No physicist talks about they're non-existent. So you cannot use this as a proof in observable reality that something comes out of nothing. That is not. That's what it was implying. That's what you were. That's what you were implying. That's what you imply. Science doesn't imply. Science doesn't imply that.
Electrons come in and out of existence. From where? From nothing.
From where?
I didn't say nothing.
Like if I come, my friend, if I come in and out of my room, outside the room, does that mean when I'm outside the room I was nothing?
No, you're making a misunderstanding.
Yeah. So let me go back to. I think we are diverting to another topic.
No, I was giving you justification that
Sure.
nothingness can never exist because we have never seen nothing.
No, nothingness conceptually exists. Conceptually. We understand what nothingness is conceptually by knowing what something is.
No, but that's conceptual. You don't know what it is.
Something, we know what it is. Conceptually, we understand its opposite, with its absence of everything. It's not difficult to conceptually understand that concept. When you say, oh, I know what love is, I know what is opposite of love, you can understand. Pain, suffering, joy, not joy, you can understand that. I was rather talking about, let me just talk about that there are two camps in the questions of the existence of God. Either God exists and God doesn't exist. There is only two possible answers, binary question with a binary answer. There is no in between. In that, no, that's what I'm saying. In that scenario, we either have to fall or align to or subscribe to one of the other camps. I was, for everyone. There is no in between.
No, for you.
No, for everyone. Tell me, can there be in between in the questions of God exists or not exist?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know is not an answer.
No, but that's,
So
that
let
is
me,
an answer.
let me tell you why it's not an answer first. Someone writes, what is 2 plus 2? There are possible answers. 4, 2, 0, 1, right? You say, I don't know. I don't know is not the correct answer, is it?
For you, yeah.
No. If anyone asks you a question, what is
Those
2?
are not
Please,
combinable.
let me try to understand this question and answers. When somebody asks 2 plus 2 equals what? There are possible answers. I don't know if people give us a possible answer, but is that the correct answer?
For mathematics, no.
For that question?
For that question, no.
Exactly. So when we say God exists or God doesn't exist, does God exist? I am saying it has only 2 answers. 2 valid answers. There is no third. God either exists or God doesn't exist. There is no in between.
How do you quantify that?
We're talking about existence of something.
How do you know?
The existence of something. If something either exists or doesn't exist.
Have you seen God?
It's not about seeing it.
What they mean to say is
When
everything either exists or it doesn't
When you
exist.
talk about existence of something, existence.
I can create anything I want and say it can or cannot
Well, it
exist.
means that's existing,
Existence.
isn't it? It means that exists.
Yeah, but I'm making that up.
Yeah, it means you exist as well, isn't
Okay,
it?
I could say, I don't know, a flying monkey exists.
For example,
But you don't know that.
for
You
example-
can't claim that it does or does not because I'm making that up.
Yes, so
The
it's either it
statement, the
exists or doesn't
statement,
exist.
God does exist. If the statement is a false statement, then the answer would be no, he doesn't exist. If your statement that if someone says God doesn't exist and his statement is not correct, then the correct answer is he does exist. So there is only two possible answers. One is yes, he does exist. The other one is no, he doesn't exist. There is no in between. You can't say I don't know. Obviously, you can say I don't know. It's not an answer.
It's not the correct
Yeah, it's
answer.
not the correct
Correct answer to the question, does something exist? You can disagree, but you can think about it later. But if some questions, my friend, what's your name?
You can call me
Friend?
Has.
I'm Mansur. Some questions does have binary answers, either or.
Some questions.
Some. The existence of something, either it exists or not, is such a binary question. We can disagree, no problem. But I will move on. I don't want to hold on to that when it's not a matter of disagreement in my understanding. But never mind, we'll continue. So I said, those people in the camp where there is no God, what are their reasons or justifications to say God doesn't exist? They must have some reasons. And I said to you, there cannot be any coherent reasons from that camp. There is nothing that can bring intellectually, rationally, reasonably, that will justify their position. And that's why I want to know, give me something from that position where we can see that their position is tenable, acceptable. So in that scenario, I said, look, we can't find anything, but rather, when you look at it, you said, I cannot give you anything because I don't believe in that extreme position of there is no God.
There is an answer. I can give you an answer for that.
No, I want to know
I
what
can give you the camp
what
side.
reason they had given, which is you think
No
is
one has ever seen God.
so just
Neither
because
you, me, or
okay,
anyone else.
so just because we don't see something, it proves that this thing doesn't exist, right? Let's understand the logic behind it.
Flying monkeys exist.
Wait,
You
wait,
can't
wait,
see
wait.
them.
Let's understand the logic in this particular justification.
It doesn't justify it, by all means.
There you go. So that's what I'm saying. It's not a justified position. You cannot bring anything that can be justified. Like, have you seen your brains?
Have you seen it?
My personal one.
Yeah,
MRI scan, yeah.
you have.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you seen your pancreas? Have you seen it? Right. So according to your logic, one can say it doesn't exist.
Yeah, but it's not equatable.
If you use a logic, no one's seen God. So the argument here is God cannot be seen, therefore God doesn't exist. So something
say that.
the argument, not you. You
I'm
brought
just
an
saying
argument.
no one has
I'm
seen it.
I'm
You have
dissecting.
never seen it.
I'm dissecting the argument. The argument stands like this. No one has seen God, therefore God doesn't exist. So no one has seen. You haven't seen your
Yeah, but
pancreas.
you're equating them. I'm not equating them. Like I said, I'm not.
I'm
atheist,
dismantling the
I'm
argument.
agnostic. No, but you're equating it.
It's not.
so therefore
I'm
you're
not
gonna-
committing equivocation. I'm simply saying this is the structure of the argument. The reason why God doesn't exist because God cannot be seen.
If the case
I
is
don't like
no,
that
no.
argument.
If the argument is you need to see something in order to
believe.
then
So what is the argument?
what's
The argument is no one has ever seen God.
Okay.
So what's the argument?
What's the argument?
Telling
The
you.
end of the story.
No, it's
No,
not a
what's the
story.
premise you're
It's an
using?
argument. What is the argument?
That no one has seen God, and therefore you guys are explaining something you have never seen.
No, just because no one has seen, say, Rwanda. I have not seen Rwanda.
No, but that's not equatable again. God is beyond your
So
existence.
now you're implying something could.
You can't equate
The,
certain
the,
things. Certain
the
things.
argument needs to deconstruct. I mean, we need to deconstruct the argument.
But if God is explained in your books in such a detail, then God should be
What if someone has seen God?
locatable, right?
What if someone
But
has
you
seen
can never
God?
locate God.
What if someone has seen God and said, I've seen God? Would you then believe?
To some extent, I would give him more merit than you.
Yeah, that's why we say the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has seen God.
But no one has seen Prophet Muhammad in any of our existence.
So now you're shifting the goalposts.
Do you believe?
You don't even have a picture.
Now you are
brother.
shifting the
You
goalposts.
don't
now.
have a picture. of
Brother,
it.
brother.
So it doesn't
Where is his
exist.
grave?
Okay, one second.
Where is his grave?
Do you believe?
One moment.
Do you believe you have great grandparents?
Do I believe?
Yeah.
I can believe.
Do you
Yeah.
know? Do you had them?
No, I
Have you
don't
seen
know.
them?
No. I've never
Do you have a
seen
picture?
them. No.
So it means it
Because
doesn't
at that
exist.
time pictures didn't exist.
Did they exist? Did they exist?
They must have. I exist.
Okay, cool. So how
So there
you're
are, how
confirming
did you
they
know?
must have?
How
Again,
did you
you're
know?
equating things that do
No,
not
no, no, no.
equate.
Now you are changing the goalpost. One thing, what do you say about the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? You said, no, nobody's seen him, so nobody questioned him, nobody's seen him, that's the reason I can't believe. You didn't see your grandparents, and I'm saying like you came from nothing there.
No, I'm not
Okay.
saying you can't believe.
Anyway,
I'm saying
let's come back to
there
this
was no
camp.
evidence that he existed. Where's the evidence?
Where's the evidence your grandparents
We are discussing the other
Yeah.
camp. The camp that doesn't believe God exists is what we're discussing. And for that reason, my friend Haj, I brought this example. Haz.
H-A-Z.
H-A-Z. Haz, the example I brought is the existence of physical laws and the application of it. And I told you, physical laws cannot exert its effect unless there's an agency that is directing it to do it. Because the physical laws, we are saying they're not conscious, they not have volition or a will, intention, so they cannot simply exert its effect. So I give an
We
example.
know.
So either you believe that the physical laws are conscious entities with a volition
I do.
or not.
I do.
So you do. So now the question is, the physical laws exist with conscious volition. Okay. And they exist always.
They do. For example, they verify two elements again. I know you don't look at these things because they're beyond your religious context, so you don't.
How
look
do you
at
know
them.
I don't look at them?
I'm just saying generally as you, not you personally,
Okay.
right? Generally you. Okay, apologies. Generally you.
I may
people-
not, but continue.
You
No
can
problem.
dispute. You can
No
dispute,
problem.
like you
No
said to me,
problem.
right?
No problem.
So there are elements, for example, in quantum field that the conscious mind interrupts the quantum normality. You understand what I'm saying?
There's going to be always an effect because you are
There you go. So that means, one second, that means the effect upon a something
The
that is
observer
not
effect.
of conscious mentality cannot be affected because it does not affect the conscious mind and therefore it cannot be affected by itself. So by definition, those elements, those quantum elements must be conscious of some description that you are not aware of. So therefore you can affect them. They behave the way you expect them to behave.
we are
then
fully aware of
describing-
them. We are fully aware.
Hold on, I'm not
Maybe
finished.
you are not aware.
Yeah, you say that, but yet the way you speak that makes me think you're not aware, right?
No.
Therefore,
Just slight interruption. I apologize. Before the universe was created, God spoke to everything, man and everything, universe, whatever any that will come into existence. The universe, the matter, all that thing, heavens and the earth. They said, we are not going to take that. But the human beings took in this free will. So we understand, even to a certain level, there are consciousness even within matter. God speaks and they
now
respond.
you're changing your stance. Okay.
When did I say
You
they're
said
not
it
conscious?
has no conscience. It has
I-
no fruition. So you said all of those things.
Listen.
If you remember.
I said, the camp, you are not a scientist. No scientist believes they are conscious. You are not using the scientific paradigm.
not the way, yeah.
So you are bringing your own belief system here, which is not science. Scientists in that camp, who are atheists, positive atheists, they would not say that the universe is conscious. They would not say the physical laws are conscious. I was using that, their paradigm. I'm saying, in their paradigm, the physical laws cannot exert itself anything. It needs another agency. So you are saying you do not agree with them, fine. But I'm saying it's not that I agree with them too, because we believe even in matter there's an element of consciousness, okay? Even to a certain extent. But ultimately, things that are all there in this amount of consciousness, they cannot be that supreme being, the ultimate being that always existed, because something has to always exist. Your physical law cannot be that determines and makes and decides things. We say that has to be the originator of all the things. That's our position. Your position is, it's not the originator, but anything else, all of these physical laws, they themselves have done this transformation. Why do you stop there? Why don't you go to this ultimate reality, the ultimate consciousness, which is God, the creator, the originator? Why do you stop there with physical laws?
Because that's as far.
Is Allah and God is the same or different?
Allah is the only true God worthy of worship. There are other false gods.
Well, the God, how is
This is a different question. Different question. We're going to consider.
Yeah, brother, we're discussing.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Isn't Allah God everything? He's saying
No.
the quantum thing. Okay.
That's pantheism and panentheism, like some Sanatani Hindus may
That's
believe.
Hinduism.
Creation is separate from the creator.
You have to ask the question: is God within the existence of creation or outside
His
of
knowledge
existence
is
of
within the
creation?
existence.
The creation.
How do you know where he is?
This existence that you've seen is brought into existence by the creator.
Brought in, but he's not inside.
He's not inside.
His
How do you know
knowledge is
that?
inside.
God tells us that.
God tells you that he's
Yeah.
outside of existence.
Yes.
So therefore, he's not experiencing existence. And he doesn't know what's happening in existence if you're outside
So
of it.
the one that is the originator of everything, brought something to existence, doesn't need to experience, doesn't lack anything. Something that exists eternally without a beginning is not deficient in any way, shape or form with anything. It will be perfect, absolute. That's why we say everything else is contingent. The creator is necessary, not contingent, originator, and will be an absolute. An absolute being, an absolute entity, is not going to be deficient in any way, will be perfect. Perfection means he doesn't lack knowledge, doesn't lack power. He has power, and that will be complete power with no deficiency. He has knowledge and no deficiency in knowledge. That's why God doesn't need to enter the creation to know what the creation is.
Excuse
Quran
me.
says, أَلَا يَعْلَمُ مَنْ خَلَقَ وَهُوَ اللَّطِيفُ الْخَبِيرُ. Would he not know the one who created? He's the all aware, the subtle. Because he's the one who created everything, so he knows already.
Is that the statement?
That's the statement in the
It's
Quran.
basically-
That God is outside.
It's
God is
basically
not
if
in the
you-
creation.
If you manufacture a car, even though you are not inside the creation, what do you know how it operates?
The car.
Yeah.
Oh, the car.
Yeah.
The car, yeah.
You know how it operates.
Yeah,
Are
to
you
some
inside?
extent.
Are you inside the creation?
I'm
Are you inside the car?
creation.
Are you inside the car?
I am party to the car's elements, yeah.
Are you inside the
Are
car
you
when you
inside
made
the
the car?
I am party to the element of the car.
Are you outside it?
Are you
I'm outside
when
of the
you
element of the car.
when
but
you
I'm
made
party
that
to
car
the
when you
existence
made
of
that
the
car?
Yeah.
I'm not outside of the existence of the car.
Are you not
the
outside
car
the
doesn't
car?
exist outside of my realm. It exists
Oh.
within my realm.
So this is
So
a
he
different way of
exists within my
looking at
realm, you
it.
exist
I am
within
saying
my realm.
the
I cannot exist outside of
now
your
I,
realm.
now I
It
understand
still
you. Now,
dictates
now I
existence.
understand you.
It doesn't
In
make sense.
Hinduism, if you think about the circle, right? Everything that there is,
The eightfold circle.
yeah. The universe and God is like God is within that circle. What we're
God is
saying,
within
not in Islam. That circle is only the creation. At one point, the creation didn't exist. God existed. Where did God exist? Not in that circle. Because before He created that circle, the universe, where was He? He existed.
Where
So
did he exist?
that's what I'm saying. God created time and place. So His existence is independent of time and place.
Outside of time and place
If God created space,
and time.
before He created space, He existed without space.
According to your understanding, yeah. Must have.
According to
Must have.
understanding, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying God is not within this space. He's outside space. He created space.
So
He
if he's
created
outside
time.
of space, so he must be in an existence within another understanding of space.
No,
No?
you're forcing
So if-
again.
if
You're
there's
forcing.
like you said, it's binary. Either he exists in something or he does not
No, no,
exist in
no, no,
something.
that's
So therefore
something-
he doesn't exist.
Let's focus this.
Because if he's not, one second. If he's not in existence, then he does not exist. Because
And
you
what
said
is that
binary,
existence?
right? You use that binary.
I
I'm
did,
using
I did.
1 plus 1 equals
No,
2
no, yeah, you
something,
don't have to
right?
remind me binary. So when He
where does
exists,
he exist?
He exists by Himself.
By
His
himself.
existence.
He's just in his own realm, like circle.
You cannot look. This is the problem of trying to understand the absolute by being limited. Wait. We are talking about an existence which is necessary by something that is contingent, right? So we can understand what the qualities of necessary being may be by understanding what is contingent. So when we say the necessary being created, originated, brought about space, you cannot then look for something, oh, his existence is also dependent on space. Because space was a creation. And the creator, we say, is unlike the creation. Has to be unlike. Otherwise, it will share all the deficiencies of the creation. The creation is limited. The creator is not. So his existence is unlike our existence. You cannot put time and place within his existence. In our time frame, in our creation, we can use that language.
So are you saying that man can create something that's outside of their realm of understanding?
I don't know how that follows from what I've just
Because you're
explained.
saying it does follow. It does follow.
How?
Because you're saying God exists outside of the realm of time and space, before anything. He created this time and space, but he created with complete understanding of how to do what it is, exact detail of the tiniest detail of everything, but yet it's outside of it. It's not the same as us, and therefore it's completely separate to us. So by that definition, the man can create something that is completely separate from themselves.
I think
it's not
How,
possible.
how
to
do you
explain
then
that
equate God creating and man creating? Man, by definition, is limited.
to your definition?
Are you unlimited?
I am unlimited.
Oh, you're absolute, right?
My limit is my knowledge.
Okay, are you absolute?
Not at the moment, no. I'm absolute in existence. Do you know when you
No,
die?
no, no, no. When you're absolute,
know.
when you're absolute, explain what you mean by absolute.
Absolute means a lot of things.
Yeah.
To you, it means God.
No, no.
To me,
Absolute to language, in language.
forever. The complete. The whole.
Do you have any limitation?
At the moment, my physical limitations are my
No,
prevalence.
no. You, in reality, do you have any limitation?
At the moment, that's what we
How can
understand.
you be limited if you're unlimited to begin with?
Unlimited means knowledge. When you sleep,
No, no,
are
no,
you
no, no,
limited by your sleep?
To-
Are you limited
Wait,
in your
just
sleep?
to explain.
Yes or no?
If you are infinite to begin with,
When you're dreaming.
explain. If you are infinite to begin with, can you be finite at some point later?
I don't know.
What is infinite by definition?
It's unknown.
It's not unknown, it's known. We've
You
defined
can
it.
never know infinite.
We have
Infinite means
defined in
forever.
our language
How
what,
do you know something is forever?
my
if
friend,
you never reach the
when
end?
we want to know about reality,
You don't know. You
we
just-
use language, right?
It's unexplainable.
No, we use language.
It's
We
language.
have a concept of infinity, which by definition, conceptually,
Conceptually,
yeah, is not finite by definition.
by definition.
So if something is infinite, it cannot be finite by definition.
By definition.
So if you were infinite to begin with, can you be finite later? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You as a human being, or part of the creation, you can never be absolute. Because you were originated. You had no existence prior.
How do you know?
Oh, you always existed?
The, are you saying souls never existed? They just come into being.
They were created.
They were created. So every soul is
Yeah.
created.
Do you believe in the soul? What's your evidence?
I don't. I'm not saying I do believe. I'm just saying some.
No,
people
I want to ask
believe
you.
it. You must believe
No, no,
it.
no. Do you believe in the soul?
I think there is an energy. Yeah, within me.
Now you're saying it's energy.
I don't know.
Is
Soul
that the
is
soul?
just a language. like
Okay,
you said.
energy.
It's a language.
The energy, right. The energy that's there. The energy that's there. The energy that's.
Photography.
You said you don't believe in things you haven't seen, then why do you believe in a soul?
Because we use curling.
Have you seen energy?
Yes, curling photography.
Energy cannot be seen.
Curling photography. Yeah, and look into it. Maybe again.
No, hang on.
You have to go beyond
What is
your
energy?
scope.
Energy is metaphysical, my friend. It's not physical.
Hold on. Curling photography.
Tell me about it.
You know what it is?
No, I don't.
Okay,
Tell me
cool.
about it.
So that's what you don't understand. It. When you take curling photography is an element where you take a picture of matter,
Yeah.
and you can then see the energetic output of that matter. That is curling photography.
Okay.
When they take a picture of you,
Yes.
holding, for example, a specific crystals, your energy is at one point, and when you're holding these different elements, your energy either increases or decreases. Your expulsion.
Can
You're
we see
releasing
energy?
Not with your physical eye, with this picture. Like, for example, you can't see certain elements of
Not with
light.
even a camera. We cannot see energy, my friend.
That's ridiculous.
Energy is metaphysical.
The spectrum includes everything. Spectrum of what? Light.
Give me an example of an
Includes
energy that we can see.
everything. Infrared. I'm just saying to you, infrared, gamma, X-ray, and all of these things you can't see. You can see a finite amount, 0.1% maybe, of the visible light. So you're excluding, 1 second, bro. You're excluding all of the other 99.999% of the spectrum. You are concluding, because I can only see with that one tiny little percent, everything else must be non-existent. That is your understanding. Photography has included all of these different lights, which means we are improving our understanding of the spectrum. One day, you might see angels flying because you can't see at the moment, right? So that means you can't exclude these elements. Curling photography.
It doesn't help your argument. Let me just explain to you.
It
Photons. Photons, right? Is that energy?
Yes.
Talking about spirituality in energy, you mean?
Everything is energy.
I mean,
We-
you're talking about spirituality in itself,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
what I feel, what I'm aware
Yeah,
about.
yeah. It's nothing to do with
Only
you can
that,
see.
but the actual physical energy being expelled, like your heat. Your heat.
Can you
Heat.
define energy?
You're sweating.
Can you,
Look.
brother?
One second.
Kundalini's energy.
Energy, yeah, but
Energy, my friend.
What do you like that word?
Energy cannot be seen. It's a metaphysical concept.
So color photography is what? Magical.
What you see, for example,
photography.
you see
I
the
might have the
look.
picture.
But I think he's.
Go ahead.
Can you do a research for him so that on your phone you can show him?
No.
It's not research. Maybe I can search something. So what I'm saying, brother. Yeah.
You need to understand what I'm talking about.
Okay. What we are saying.
You need to do a bit more research yourself. That's what I'm saying. Energy is not something.
I
Look,
told you first that you're telling
No.
me how to do research.
It's
I'm
not
telling
too
you-
fast.
I'm telling you,
correct.
light, heat, radiation, infrared, ultraviolet that you're talking about, this is not just energy, they're manifestations of energy. They're not real energy. Energy is just a metaphysical concept. That's why you don't know. You're just a spiritualist and say, oh, energy can be vibration, we can see and we can feel, the aura. Your language tells us all. You haven't really gone into the physics of it.
Yeah, but we need to see like what's the definition of energy?
What is energy?
What's the definition?
Is that energy?
Brother, Google says you cannot see energy.
Brother,
I didn't say anything.
What is the definition?
What's the definition of energy?
No, energy is not
I'm
aura.
saying aura is what you can see.
No,
no,
energy
what's-
is not aura, aura is not energy. That's not the definition.
Brother, what's the definition of energy?
Photonic light.
No.
What's the scientific definition of an energy?
Something that has mass, light,
No.
and
No.
That's where the problem is.
Electric
You have built up a belief system based on your inadequate understanding of what energy
Air is
is.
electric.
No,
You're alive
I'm
because you have
asking.
electric air energy.
I'm
That
asking
is
you.
energy.
That's what's the definition of an energy? You can't give an example. Okay, that's the energy. That's the energy. I'm asking, what is it? What's the definition?
What do you think it is?
I'm asking you.
I just gave you the answer, but you don't think I'm right. So what do you think?
You're wrong.
You're wrong.
Incorrect.
I'm wrong. Okay.
So, your definitions about seeing the
What's the
aura,
definition?
energy
If I'm
is a
wrong,
metaphysical concept, right?
Metaphysical.
It's a
What
metaphysical
does that
concept. It's not physical. You can't
Exactly.
see it.
So that's just non-explanation. I could say the same thing. Energy is something you cannot
Energy
see.
is ability
It is
to
not
do
an
something.
explanation
Brother.
of energy.
When you have the
I just told
ability,
you what energy is.
can you
It's
see?
photonic
Can you
light.
can you see
It's
ability?
energy.
Can you see ability?
Can energy exist without photonic light?
One second.
Can they?
Can I'll explain to you.
No, they can't.
One second. One second.
There we go.
Can you see ability?
What do you mean?
Energy is the ability to do
Energy
something.
is the ability of
What
doing
is the
something.
ability?
Can you see
That's
ability?
energy.
If I can create the ability,
No,
I can
can
see
you
the
see
ability.
ability?
Can you see the ability?
When you hit two electrons together,
No, that's
they
electrons that you
create-
see. You don't see abilities.
Yeah, what do
You don't
mean?
see.
To hear. Can you see?
What do you mean? Oh,
Ability to hear. Can you see?
no, of course not.
That's what he's talking about.
Okay, yeah, but I can see it by frequency vibration.
You're seeing something else.
No, that's a physical representation of sound. You can hear me.
I am not
because I'm
saying.
vibrating into
I'm
your
not
ear.
saying what emits from a particle, what emits from a matter,
excluding
what
it.
emits from a photon.
You're excluding it.
I am saying what you see is not what energy is. That's why I'm saying go deep.
What is it?
I've explained to you already. It's an ability. It's a metaphysical concept. It's not something you can see.
Non-explanation. Yeah, but that's a
They
non-explanation.
already said you
Do
cannot
you
see it.
agree? Do you agree? Energy is the ability of doing something. That's the energy. Do you
Yeah, I
agree?
do, to
Okay,
some
cool.
extent.
Can you see?
What
the-
color is it?
It has a multitude of color. Depends on
The
energy
ability.
output.
The ability
Sound
has
energy, what kind of color?
vibrations.
When you hear something, what kind of color does
Some
it have?
people who are blind can hear sound.
No,
in
the
color.
ability, my friend. The ability of anything. Are you saying the ability has some
Literally,
kind
you're
of
blind, and you
photons?
can actually see within. When you close your eyes, do you see anything, or are you just completely blind?
This is what spirituality
If I
does
put
to
light in
people.
your eye, or if
Totally
I do
confuses
something
people.
that like when you're sleeping, do you see anything? Dreams.
No, I don't see.
In your dreams.
In the dreams. I mean, that's different than what I see.
That's his
man.
brain waves.
That's a brain-
That's his
that's
brain waves.
So
That's
where,
a
how are
memory.
you seeing it?
That's a memory.
How are you seeing it?
No,
How
his
are you seeing it?
brain waves can be
You see
seen.
with your eye, right?
I mean, I don't
How are you
see.
seeing with
I
your
don't see
brain?
dream with my eyes.
How do you see with your brain?
Yeah, because that's a memory.
Think about
That's
it.
why
It's
it's
a
been stored in my
projection
mind.
You're
of.
just being in what's it called?
I am being
conclusive.
consistent.
You're being conclusive.
You,
in one element,
firstly-
but yet you're ignoring that in your dreams
the reason-
you
no, no,
can see a lot of things.
okay.
When you close your eyes, you can see your whole memory.
Brother,
How does that
when
happen?
we see with our eyes, so basically what happens, our mind is stored as a memory.
How do you know?
What is vision, by the way? What is seeing?
Do you have a picture?
One second.
Yeah, your visual
Brother,
experiences are stored
one
in your
second.
brain.
How is it stored?
What is seeing? When I see you, what happens? Tell me about seeing now. Let's see if I understand.
Say it, repeat again.
So when I see you, what happens? What's happening? From
You're
me to you.
examining me. You're checking
No, no.
me. You're
Seeing.
identifying
No, no.
me,
Seeing.
You are
Seeing
taking
and
a picture
vision.
of me and putting it in your
Explain.
brain.
Hang on. what happens in my brain? What happens? What happens in my eye? What happens?
You can
Light
see.
hits me and
Light.
then it goes into your eye.
Right. So there is emission of light, and it comes to
To your eye. And then your
Yep,
eye
in
translates
my
it
cornea,
into frequency.
rods and
photonic
cones.
frequency.
Then the nerves transfer the information in my brain.
Not a picture as you see, but completely different.
What happens? So seeing is what? Exactly again? You're saying seeing, he's a toxic heckler in this park, ignore him. He's a radicalized extremist.
Terrorist.
We have to be very careful with this kind of people.
He's telling
Very toxic.
No, you just got in, bro.
Yeah. I'm listening. Sorry. All right. I'll walk away.
Right. So as you can see, seeing there's some kind of physics that are happening. That's why when we then interpret in our brain what we have just observed due to some kind of interaction of photons and my receptors, right? Yeah. So we haven't seen energy. Energy cannot be seen.
How did you see? How did Muhammad
Photon
see
is
the
not
video?
energy.
What is photon?
You know what? Let's not prolong any further because you have some understanding that photon, gravitons, if they exist, for example, they're all energy.
I think you need to do more research. None of the physicists or none of the scientists said the energy can be seen or energy. The
I never
simple
said
is
that. I never said that.
you said energy can be seen.
No, there are different types of energy in a spectrum that is visible to your eye and technology.
That wasn't energy that you're saying.
Was not
That's the vibration of light.
Spectrum is
That's
part of this.
when you say spectrum of light, that's the vibration of light within that wavelength.
In a variety of perspectives.
That wavelength is the photons when they
Which
again what is that's photons,
And photons and
for
neutrons.
right? That's
If
what it
someone-
is. It's not energy.
If someone, for example, if someone punch, according to you, his
you don't know
hand
if God
is energy.
exists.
If someone punch
But
someone,
energy proves that God exists.
Okay.
a
So
couple of things that do exist.
I know. But
don't call him brother. He's not our brother.
Energy
He's the devil.
proves,
So-
like your Allah. Energy
See how
proves
toxic
that
he
God
is?
exists. Hey,
He insulted my God.
you insulted me,
No, by calling someone.
but you can
If
insult me.
I
but
can
can't
call
insult
someone
you.
a devil when I see a devilish behavior,
Let's not
isn't
go
it?
there. Let's
Right.
not
That's
go
what I
there.
did.
Let's come back to the
you went
argument.
I can justify my statement. But anyway, so let's come back to this one point. You believe in energy, you believe in some kind of spiritual energies and aura and so on. I want to ask you this question. How do you explain the Quran if it's not from God? Because the Quran says if it's not from God, produce a chapter like unto it. Produce a book like unto it. It challenges human beings.
I did, yeah. I read that challenge. How many times does it challenge and how many times does it improve the challenge?
The Quranic
that.
challenge,
Don't ignore that.
if you are able to,
Don't ignore that.
hear me out, if you're able to produce a book like it, go ahead, do it.
A
It's
chapter
been made
or
because
or a
they produce
verse?
like it.
I'm just about to tell you. If you want to produce a book like the Quran, do it, whole book, no problem. If you want to do 10 chapters like it, do 10 chapters like it. If you want to do 1 chapter like it, even one, do it. All of this challenge are all applicable, appropriate, and they're eternally there going to be until the end of the world. Why are people, Christians, atheists, spiritualists, unable to produce a single chapter
I was man created. The Quran
like the
doesn't know.
Quran? Why are they unable to do so?
Does the Quran know who came
Because
first?
no one is allowed
What
to
prevents
answer. You kill him.
people from matching this challenge of the Quran?
I will match it. Surah Al-Fatiha, 7 verses.
What's
I
the
can create
nature?
more than
What's
7 verses.
what's the nature of the challenge?
The nature of the challenge is to challenge. God is challenging me. I'm not
No,
challenging God.
nature. When the Quran says "Fa'tu Surah min mithlihi," bring a chapter, a surah like unto it. How is the surah like? How is the Quran like? What is the Quran like that you're going to bring like it? Explain to me
The
first.
Quran is copying the Bible.
It's a dua, right? It's a
If I
prayer of
if I
dua,
say
right? So I
bring,
will make it better.
if I say bring a ring like it, this one, and you say, oh yeah, there you go,
Who is speaking?
there you go, that's a ring like it.
Yeah, but that's not what
Wait,
the
wait,
Quran
wait,
says.
wait, Has. Let me try to explain to you the challenge. If I said bring a ring like this one, and you brought this one, would that be challenge met?
Unless
Yes,
that,
it would be.
unless that's better ring than that one.
Right.
No, is this a ring like this?
Yeah,
It's better than
It's
that.
not about better. It's,
You're equating
Oh, you
things
said
that
bring
are
it
not
like.
the question is to bring something like it. The question is not bring
would I
something
bring something
lesser
Bible-
or
the
higher,
Bible-
just like it. So-
the Quran is a copy of the
So,
Bible.
so
if the,
is this like this
guy is a
ring?
liar.
Is this like this
He's trying
ring?
to cover me, right?
Good.
'Cause I'll cook
So
him.
we need to understand what this ring is like to bring something like it. If someone brings something like that,
The Quran
you will
is
say
like the Bible.
they have not
It just
understood
contradicts
what it is. So when the Quran says bring something like the
It's a
Quran,
detailed explanation.
you need to know what the Quran
But
is
you
like.
don't know
So,
the name of Adam's wife.
if you're going to
You
bring
don't know who died on the
a
cross.
chapter, a surah
You don't
like
know
into the
who's in the
Quran,
fire.
how is the surah like? How is the surah like? These beggars will come to my speech all the time.
You wish I was a beggar.
Don't instigate him, please.
You wish I was a beggar.
No, he will bark like this.
Everywhere I
Put me on your
go,
channel.
he comes here to beg to have a
Don't put me
discussion,
on your
and I
channel.
don't give him a discussion. Anyway, continue.
I'll be back.
So,
I wish you would come to Jesus Christ, the true Messiah, not their Esau. I just want to know. They say Eric. We will.
well said. Well
Yeah.
done. Thank
I
you.
want him
He
to-
will debate with you
Yes,
later.
I just want to know, right? Why does their book say that Jesus' name is Esau, but in Arabic his name is Yasu?
Bye-bye.
You see what I said? They all say Arabic, but his name is Yasu.
He will come back. Don't
In
worry,
Arabic.
He'll come back. He'll come back.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
You need to accept Jesus Christ. He's the real Messiah. What's that?
Bro, he doesn't believe in God.
I know. But we'll
Don't
chat later.
invite
We'll
him
chat
in
later,
again.
okay? We'll chat
Don't
later.
invite him in.
But just notice how the Muslims
Let,
run.
let the beggars go, right? Let them keep on begging. Anyway, so to bring a chapter like in the Quran is to know what the Quran is like.
Are you my aunt?
The Quran is like none of the Arabic speech from its time. Totally different. It's not like the statement of the Quran, the soothsayers. It's not the statement like the poets. Yeah? So it's not poetry, it's not prose, it's not the statement of soothsayer. It's in its own linguistic genre. Unique. It doesn't have any rhymes and meters that they're familiar with, 16 types of Bihar. None of that. So that's why when you bring the Quran, if you want to bring an imitation, you have to bring something like what it is. So there are lots of objective works of how the Quran is like so that people can bring or try to bring something like it. Why, even after the objective nature is shown, people fail to bring something like it? Is the question to you, us. Why?
Because you're putting constraints on it.
No, that's the conditions. The Quran itself
No, but
tells
that's
you.
constraints.
The Quran
says
challenges
like
people
it, right?
to bring something like it.
Like it.
If it was a human
What is the
speech,
meaning like it?
the way it is,
What's the difference between like it and exactly?
the Quran doesn't say bring exactly. It would be
No, what's the difference?
exactly would be exactly a duplication, a duplicate thing.
Like your ring.
A
Exactly
duplicate.
Like his ring.
But the Quran doesn't say
So therefore,
duplicate
I don't
it.
have to bring something
The
exactly
Quran doesn't
like
say
it.
duplicate it. Quran says bring something like it of that nature.
I choose Surah Al-Fatiha. Seven verses, right? To it.
Yeah.
And it talks in simplicity, right? It doesn't have any complexity to it.
Okay,
I'm
Surah
just saying,
Al-Fatiha.
If I can produce
Wait.
something-
Have you produced it? Okay, recite to me with your production. Let's see how it's like the stylistics of the Quran. Because it needs to be within the stylistics of the Quran. Yeah?
You're putting constraints to it.
That's the condition.
What's the likeness?
You don't like it?
Why would I need to speak like God if I'm
No.
making something equal
The
to that
Quran
understanding?
tells you bring something like the Quran. If this ring is made of silver,
But if it
you
says
should make.
Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim, I can't
You
say
should not.
the same words.
No, you cannot bring a plastic because it's not like it.
Yeah, but it's
So
words.
when the Arabic Quran has stylistics, usloob and asalim, right? These are stylistics. You have to match those stylistics. So if I say, for example, a sentence starts with a nominal sentence, with a noun, then a preposition, then a verb, and so on, that's the stylistics. So you have to bring something of that
Putting
nature.
those constraints on it.
That's the condition, my friend.
Where? It doesn't say
We are
that.
not look. We are not asking.
The whole statement.
No, but the
But
statement
to
like it, you're adding
بمثله.
other things.
No. When it says like
Translated.
بمثل, the mithl is as the Quran is. If the Quran is now within that stylistics,
No, it's not. It doesn't ask you that. I am saying one verse. It says one verse.
I just told you.
No, hold on.
فَأْتُوا سُورَةٌ
The
مِن
first
مِثْلِهِ.
surah, the first challenge
Yeah.
is not the entire Quran. The first challenge is to bring one verse like it, and then the second
One
challenge.
verse where?
Where's your book? Take it out. You'll see it.
It doesn't
It'll
say one verse like it.
one
It doesn't say one-
surah.
Surah and verse does not say.
surah.
You got your
one
chronology
surah.
wrong. Where did you get this chronology? 1 surah, then 10 surah, then 1 book.
Hold on.
Where did you get that from?
In your Quran. In
No.
your Quran, it
No,
says
no, no.
one
The
surah,
chronology.
Bring one surah
Wait,
like it.
Has.
Then it says bring 10 like it.
That
and then
chronology
the
that you're
entire
saying.
book like
No.
it. So God is improving his
Excuse
challenge
me.
because someone has met his challenge.
That chronology that you
That's the
giving.
only reason.
You're not
Otherwise,
listening. You're not listening.
You're not listening to me either.
I am disputing your
You can't
chronology.
dispute without me finishing first.
You said it came as one chapter first, then chapter, then one whole book. Right? I'm disputing that chronology. Chronology is the sequence of events. Right? Where
It's not
did you...
sequential.
The challenge of first one, then 10, then her whole book. I am disputing
That's
that.
how the book is written now.
Where does it say
Why
that?
is it like that? Listen. Are you disagreeing?
I
Are
am
you
telling,
disagreeing
I
with
am,
the chronology
I
of
am,
the book that is
I am
written
telling
today?
you
So you're not Muslim.
that you
You can't be. 'cause you're disagreeing with it.
has. With all due respect, you should have known the Quran as it stands today. This is not the order of sequential revelation.
So I can put it in any order I want.
Don't change the goalpost. You made a claim. This is the order in the Quran
As it stands.
as it stands. But I am saying, when the Quran was sent down, revealed, this is not the order as you find the order as it stands today.
How do you prove that? It's a question. Don't be upset with it.
When the Quran was revealed, we have historical narrations.
So why didn't they follow it?
Can I finish what I'm saying? We are dealing with whether the Quran as it stands today this is the way it was revealed, in that order. To know that it wasn't, we can go to the historical accounts. And we find the historical accounts tells us. The first one was Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Okay? This is surah much later in the Quran. So historical evidence tells us this is the order. It's not the order as it stands in the format of the book today. So you cannot use your argument saying just because it appears in this way, that's why the Quran initially challenged and people met and then Quran improved it. No. The Quranic challenge of all of these three challenges still stands today in any way you want it. I am saying you cannot bring to this day. Now, someone has a product of imitation and say, look, this matches this particular surah is in that stylistics and it matches those conditions. You can't. I have been challenging in this park since the early 90s, mid 90s. And if God willing, if I'm still in London, I'll be coming and keep on challenging that. The Quran has been challenging for the last 1444 years or more. So the challenge is every week, every day, every year, Muslims are challenging. Excuse me. So it's not something that Muslims are hiding from that challenge. Muslims are actively saying, where is it? You can go in the internet and they say, surah this, surah that. But ask yourself, the people who are imitating such imitation, which surah is it imitating and how are they meeting the condition? None of them does. Not a single one of them. Not a single one of them. You can bring anywhere you like. We can talk about it. None of them meets the condition. Why? If it's a human product, Shakespeare can be imitated. You can ask DeepSeek, you can ask ChatGPT, it will imitate Shakespeare and you wouldn't even know whether that was Shakespeare or not.
They don't place the constraints that
Human speech within the conditions of the stylistics of Shakespeare, you can imitate it. But you cannot imitate the stylistics of the Quran. Says the Muslims for the last
then you
1400
can't
years.
translate the Quran.
It's not about translation. It's about imitating the stylistics and bringing something similar.
But then it's mistranslation.
Brother, it's nothing to do with humanity, nothing to do with translation.
But you can't take both sides. See, that's the
I
problem
am
with
simply
religious
saying,
context.
I
You
am
can't
simply
take both
saying, when a book challenges and says, this is a book from God, you cannot bring something similar to it. If you are a really individual with integrity, you will say, how can it be from God? If God doesn't exist, for example, it will be a human product. Maybe a number of people gathered together and made it. Let me try it. Okay, I don't have the ability. Let me go and ask someone who knows Arabic. The Quran says that if you cannot do it yourself, then you seek your helpers and supporters besides God to do that job.
So why did the Quran also say several things? Because you say quite a lot of stuff, but you interrupt me as well. So it's a
But
bit
I am
difficult.
only talking about that challenge. Why are people failing to meet that challenge? That is an evidence for the book that is from God.
If I could finish, right? So your first thing is you're putting constraints
prior hand.
I disagree with your wordings.
And your constraint.
I disagree with your wordings. We cannot continue any further because a challenge has a
constraint.
constraint. You're saying the negative thing. Oh, you're
I
make
didn't say it's negative.
use the word conditions. That's what the challenge
No.
is about.
But there
The
is no
challenge is with
conditions.
conditions.
Constraint and
No.
condition is different. When
That's
the Quran-
exactly, they're different.
when
The
the
Quran
Quran says the
challenges with
condition-
conditions.
When
What's
the
the
Quran-
challenge of what's the condition of the Quran?
When the Quran gives you specific conditions, it highlights it, does it not?
What are they?
And the Quran highlighted it with
The
one
5
word,
pillars of Islam.
bimithlihi.
It doesn't say one, maybe two,
Listen,
three,
listen.
maybe six.
The
like it,
Quran
it
is
says
so
5 pillars of-
concise, it only needed to choose one word,
So therefore you're
bimithlihi.
placing the constraints that you have elaborated out of your head to stop anyone from proceeding further than that. So therefore you're
Disagree.
putting the constraints.
Disagree. What?
So the constraint
Disagree
is not
with
in
you,
the
my
Quran.
friend. Disagree.
It only says bring something like it. So that means if I can choose Surah Surah
Fatiha,
Al-Fatiha, and I can do better than the surah, you will say it's failing because it's not meeting the language, it's not meeting the poetic understanding of it, it's not meeting the
You misunderstood the
phonetic-
challenge. That's the problem.
the grammatic.
No, you misunderstood the
language.
challenge.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what you would
No,
say.
no.
So therefore, nobody
It's
can
not
meet
me.
your challenge.
No, 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 no,
Nobody
no, no,
can.
no.
But you're
Objectively,
making sure
we
nobody
can
meets
bring
it.
Shakespeare's work and imitate it.
I can do better than the Quran.
Wait, wait,
I
wait.
can.
People
I
have
can do
said
much
so.
better than the Quran.
Yeah, of course you
I'll
can.
explain to you how to pray.
Wait.
When to pray.
Wait,
The Quran
wait.
doesn't do that.
Wait.
I will tell you why you shouldn't pray to a
Relax.
black stone.
Hey, relax.
The Quran doesn't do that.
Relax.
No, but
Your arrogance is taking over you, right?
Because you are
So
not
let
allowing
me
me to
let me explain to you again.
Okay, go for it.
Bring it ring like this doesn't mean you bring my hat, right?
That's not equatable.
Excuse me. Try to understand what am I saying. Now, am I putting constraints or am I putting a condition?
Condition.
When I say bring something like this ring and you bring this cap, now, am I putting a constraint or am I putting condition? Or
That's a condition.
condition. So the Quran gives a condition, bring something like it.
No, I'll explain to you. When you say bring something like my ring, it's a circular, has a shape like that, and it shines.
I don't need
against
to
the
define
sun. Those are
circular,
constraints.
shape, metal.
That's what you
I'm
do.
simply saying like it. This is so...
Can I not bring a verse?
Wait.
A chapter like Surah Al.
Listen.
Surah Al-Fatiha.
Wait.
And what is the constraint?
Wait.
or condition?
Wait. So you want to bring something like Al-Fatiha, right?
Yeah, it's simple.
Okay, good. Al-Fatiha has its likeness. It has its stylistics.
What's the style?
It starts with Bismillahir Rahmanir
I
Rahim.
don't believe in that. So I
It
don't need to
doesn't
put
matter
in
whether
that
you
way.
believe it or not.
What do you mean? I'm writing something better. Why would I write it in the same fashion?
Listen.
It makes no sense.
Listen.
It makes no sense.
If you want to make something like the Quran, look at the stylistics. So it starts with harf al-jar, ba. Then a noun, ism. So mudaf ilayhi, bismi. Then it has Allah here. Now here, Allah is what? We're talking about the stylistics now. Is Allah a sifa or a badal of this ism noun? And then talks about Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim in this pattern. You have a pattern from the same linguistic madda, rahm, is Ar-Rahman in the patterns of fa'alan and then fa'il. So you have now a grammatical construct and a stylistics. Harf jar, ism, which is mudaf ilayhi, and then you have a noun, which is what? A badal, a na'at, a sifa, what do you want to call it? And then you have the na'at of that, the second badal maybe, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. This is the construct. Let me give you an example of how this pattern is not, even that first line is not matchable even in Arabic language. Because we're talking to bring something like in Arab, because the Quran is in Arabic. The Quran says, we have revealed the Quran in Arabic. So you have to bring something like the Quran, which is Arabic. If somebody says, Bismil Amir Al-Akram Al-Kareem, same stylistics. Bismil Amir, in the name of the Prince, Al-Akram, the most generous, Al-Kareem, the very generous. Now, an Arab-speaking person will say, what are you talking about? We don't speak like this. It's not even eloquent, it makes no sense. You're actually making a mockery of language. Oh, Bismil Amir Al-Akram Al-Kareem. No, we don't say things like that. So that stylistic pattern is not going to be an eloquent speech even today to the Arabic speaking person, whether they are Muslim or non-Muslim. But that's the construct in the Arabic language, and it is eloquent at that time. Even today, no one disputes this eloquence. That was verse 1, ayah 1. you go to Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, you will realize what's happening here. It starts with al, definitive particle al, with a hamd, making it difficult. All praise. The Arabs at that time, we're talking about now to understand this nature, they never used that. Now, hamd, praise, with the beginning of their statement ever with definitive article with al, alhamd. They would say hamdan li something and continue. And then it says Rabbul Alameen. The Arab at that time never had in their vocabulary, there was more than one alam, one world. But here it's plural, Alameen. So it's bringing a totally new concept that they were not familiar with at all. Just like if you go back to the English people in the 14th century and say, oh, look at the effect of globalization. So what are you talking about? Globalization? What is globalization? They don't have a word called globalization. It's a modern word. So Quran introduces terms which it didn't exist in their vocabulary. So if you're going to bring something like the second ayah of the Quran within Surah Al-Fatiha, you better find a stylistics like that exactly. And yet it needs to be acceptable to the Arabs. The terms that you're going to introduce, which is totally unknown but new now with a linguistic innovation, and it needs to be meaningful and correct factually, because we know there are more than one world today, many worlds. That's why we're even talking about multiverses, many worlds, worlds of jinn, worlds of men, worlds of animals, many worlds, not one world. So if you're going to bring something like it, you have to bring it with this particular stylistics. And I can go on and finish the whole chapter, and you'll realize anyone on planet Earth will not be able to do so, because the stylistics is such in that manner.
Well, my dispute would be that the Prophet was actually challenged not by just himself, that he wasn't literate, he was unable to, as you said earlier and your colleague said, he couldn't read, right? Okay, so that means he would have not been able to come up with such magnificence.
He couldn't.
That's your claim, right? Okay, cool. So in the same sentence, you're also claiming that even though the Prophet was illiterate, he was able to come up with such a language.
He didn't come up. It was given.
Speak
No,
in such a way.
it was given.
It was
It was given.
He
It's
spoke.
not his.
Was it not spoken?
It's not his.
Was it not spoken out of his mouth?
Let me clarify one thing. Once we,
But you have to keep it short, otherwise.
I'll keep it short. Once we compare his speech that we find in the hadith, you know what the hadith are, right?
Another man explaining something else.
When we look at the hadith, his statements, we see the stylistics are different than the Quran. And when a scholar of language, literary theory, linguistics, they look at the stylistics, they will say it doesn't come from one individual.
But that was not their purpose.
So my evidence against what you're saying is this: when the statement of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is examined with the Quranic stylistics, they are totally different.
I accept.
That means the Quran was not his own, because he had his own speech, and the Quran goes outside his stylistics. So it was given to him as he says.
That's what you claim. But at the same time, in the hadiths, it also talks about people who challenged the Prophet. And
Like
they
who?
came to him and said,
Like who?
you speak like a prophet, like a soothsayer,
Like
like
who?
a liar. It's irrelevant.
No.
It's in one of
I
the
want
hadiths.
to see and hear
I
this.
don't know the names exactly.
No.
Because
I can't go about vague
who are the
statements.
Ashabas of the Prophet?
Huh?
The exact, all of the people that were there, that were learned the entire Quran.
When
by
you're going to,
memory. Do you
when
know
you
it?
wait,
Do you
when
know
you're
it?
going
No,
to,
you can't ask me.
when you are going to
With
bring,
every single one of them.
when you are
Every
going
single
to
one. How
bring,
many of them were there? 60. 60? Yeah. No, there were more than that. 400 it says.
when you are going to bring historical details, I would like to see that historical details.
But before we go there, because I know you're cutting me off, don't cut me off, right?
No, I'm
I wanna
asking
I
for
wanna get to the
clarification.
point where you're
I'm
disagreeing.
asking for clarification. You can't bring something from history without telling me where you're getting it from.
One of the hadiths in Muslim.
In Sahih Muslim, you mean?
Yeah.
What does it say?
It says about those who came to the Prophet and they disputed him, saying that you are a poet, you're a soothsayer. You know what that means? You're a liar. You're a concealer. You speak in such tone.
And the Quran then challenged them. Bring
Yeah,
something like it.
No. The Quran then, a verse comes out in exact same wording that says the Prophet is not that. Right?
The
So, one
Quran
second.
challenges them.
No,
Bring
Allah
something
is
like
so
it.
Allah is so concerned that his Prophet is being seen in such a light, he instantaneously brings about another verse that fights the same wordings that these people use.
Here is your
Why
problem.
would God care about that?
Where is your
That's the
problem?
first thing.
No, I
Second
want to
thing-
address that.
No, it's in the Quran.
No, I want to address this.
Yeah, but you
Haz,
can address
I want
it.
to address it.
But I haven't finished.
The Quran interacts with people at that time directly. When people came in saying, "Oh, you brought it something," the Quran says, "Okay, you think it's not from Allah? Produce something like it. You think he forged it? Bring something like it. Or you think he learnt it from someone else? Bring something
Why
like
would
it."
he need that? Why would God need to be? Why
It's
would
not
God
what.
feel like
It's
he's
not.
challenged?
It's not what.
Is God challenged? By
Listen,
man?
listen. It's not that God needs anything. It's
Sounds like it.
it's establishing the evidence against them.
Why?
Because
There's
the
a need.
Quran is going to be the guide for the people.
Air doesn't care whether you believe it or not.
Listen,
the air
listen.
exists.
The air is not God. God is
No,
not
it doesn't
air.
matter. I'm saying.
So
even a
the
low
Quran,
dome
the
doesn't
Quran,
care.
the
But your God
Quran,
cares.
the Quran, God cares even to the minutiae of details
But he never
because He's
explained
Rabb.
other things.
He is the Rabb,
He cares
the
about
Lord,
that one.
the sustainer for everyone.
No,
So
he cares about that one, but he doesn't care about a lot of other things.
Wait.
Like how you pray.
Excuse me. Wait. Do not just shift the goal. We are talking about. You're talking about your inability, the human being's inability, the jinn's inability, the creation's inability to bring something like the Quran. So the Quran offers a direct challenge. Be a man enough and say, "I will find a chapter like unto it if I'm not able to do it myself." No one is able to. Why I'm saying, why are they unable? You don't see the gravity of this challenge.
Because you're constrained.
That challenge dismantles the beliefs, crumbles the belief of every single else on this universe. The challenge is so profound, so profound. It obliterates, annihilates every single belief system in this creation. It tells us, if you doubt that this is not from God, produce something like it. To this day, the challenge stands like that. And we are seeing not a single person is able to bring something like it.
Why? Because you're putting constraints, and your Quran also improves upon the challenge. Why would God need to improve upon the challenge?
God hasn't
Why?
improved on the challenge.
One surah.
I'm not going to repeat that again, my friend.
10
I'm not going to repeat that again.
No, because
The
then you have
Quran
to
gave you
explain-
options for any of
If you
those
go
things.
there, I'm going to go there too. But I'm just saying to you, however you chronologically you put it, it's irrelevant. There's 3 different challenges.
Same challenge.
No.
To
There's 3
bring,
different
to
wordings.
bring.
So the Quran's wordings are not important.
You're not listening.
Are they not
You're not
important?
listening.
I am
The
listening.
Quran is offering you either of the 3 options.
No. It would have been in the same verse.
I'm
in
gonna
the same surah.
end this
brother.
conversation because you're not being very sincere at this very
I am
point.
sincere.
No, you're not. In my estimation,
I
you're not.
listen to you for
No,
mostly,
no.
and then when I speak,
Oh,
you
no.
cut me off. And when I give you my opinion, you cut
I'm
me
not
off.
taking your opinion. This is not from sincerity.
is
I
that
am
not?
telling you
It's
in
in the
black
Quran.
and white,
It's in the Quran.
the Quran, challenge of the Quran.
It's not chronological. Is that your understanding?
Let me repeat my statement so you can understand. The challenge of the Quran is that you have the options of bringing the whole book if you wish. Make the whole book like the Quran. No problem.
I don't need to.
If you want 10
One
chapters,
verse.
if you
One
want
surah.
if you want 10 chapters, you can do so.
One surah. I just
If you want one surah, one surah. So give me one surah, let me hear it. And tell me how this is following the stylistics.
Without your constraints. The condition is bring one like it.
Okay, that's fine. Bring like it.
One like it.
Yeah,
That's
like
the
it.
condition.
Like it.
That's the
And
condition.
tell me how it's like it. Go on.
The
No.
condition.
The condition is like
Can
it.
you read? No, because you're
No.
Muslim, right? Can you read it and say in English, and I will make it better?
You tell me
I have
your
to read the
imitation.
Quran then.
Look, your imitation.
So that I can
I
do
want
it better.
to. I want to hear your imitation like the Quran. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll make it 7. In the name of the Creator.
Arabic.
Why would I speak Arabic? I don't
Because
speak Arabic.
it's not like it,
That's your constraint.
my friend.
But that's your constraint. Do you understand?
That's the end of the discussion, my friend.
Okay, have a good
Okay?
day. Thank you very much for your time.
It's not point. It's not any point talking because as I explained, this ring and you bring a cup. I'm sorry, we have to end this
Speak
conversation.
Arabic the whole time. Don't speak English at all.
Hang on. Oh, don't bring a ring. Oh, if you want to bring a ring, bring a glass like it. Bring a shoe like it.
just
No.
beyond- that's beyond
This is the level of your. Hang on, my friend
know I don't
Has.
speak Arabic.
This is the level of your intellectual capability of grasping the nature of the challenge. That's all.
the nature.
That's the level of your intellectual
speak
ability. Your intellectual ability, prowess of grasping the challenge.
God
Even
English.
after
God
explaining
understands
a ring to bring a ring like it, you don't bring something like that. Because even to...
That's not the same.
So when I say bring something like it, like the Quran, Quran is in the Arabic language.
Should I bring it in the same metal component?
The Quran is in the Arabic
Same
language.
metal component.
Excuse me, Arabic language. So I'll give you an opportunity one more time. Arabic language, go ahead. Okay, that's fine. You take care.
That's why you
Take
never
care.
convert people.
No, it's not
You
converting.
never convert people because you are putting yourself
I don't need to convert.
in such a manner
People who are sincere,
you're not sincere.
with intellectual
That
integrity,
condition didn't exist. You just placed it straight away.
one condition, similar. One condition, similar.
Verse, you instantly said you have to speak Arabic.
Similar.
So therefore,
How is
you're
it similar?
defeated.
How is it?
You're defeated.
How is your English similar to the
You're
Arabic?
defeated.
Right, listen.
What do you mean?
How is your English similar
is
to Arabic?
also a language that can explain. a
How
lot of
is your
things.
English similar to the Arabic stylistics?
What do you mean?
What do I mean?
What do you mean?
You know what?
Shakespeare has a what?
You know what? You need to really reflect on that. That's what I can do.
Maybe you should.
I